think that's a bit loud? Boys, it's getting too loud. You're getting out of control, boys. Stevie, now calm down, class. Calm down. Mr. Boy, you've got to turn it down.
What did you say? You want me to turn it down? Turn it down like this?
Hey folks, welcome to a new Master That Riff. I'm going to be looking at audiences listening today by Stevie Vai off Passion Warfare. Classic album, classic song. Now, I'm actually going to look at, I'm going to ignore the big build-up with the teacher in the class and all the kind of whammy bar abuse before the actual riff starts. I'm going to actually look at playing from the riff. So we'll look at the swung 16th kind of funky fingerstyle riff. And then we'll look at the distorted riff. Now the way I'm going to look at it is the way that Vai plays it live. Compared to the recording, there's a couple of little bits that are different that I'll talk about. But actually, physically how he's doing it is, Vai is kind of playing it fingerstyle. And live, you'll kind of palm his pick in some way. If you're going to do it that way, I mean, I tend to hold my pick in the middle finger like that if I was doing... on the recording, you probably noticed I played actually hybrid picking. Because on the actual recording it's like an overdub, so that just gave me that extra bit of time to switch between the clean riff and the distorted riff. But live, Vai gives himself a bit of time. He kind of plays an open A string before he goes into that kind of riff. So let's look at the actual notes that we're playing here, and I'll play all this kind of fingerstyle. So the first little phrase goes like that. Now, the notes I'm actually going to play here, I'm going to do a pull off 3 to 0 on the A string with the middle finger. And I'm plucking that A string with my thumb on my right hand here. And the reason for that is just to give it a slight kind of pop sound. Yeah, you don't have to go crazy with it, but enough just to give it almost a percussive quality. And notice that I sit on that 3rd fret just a little bit longer to give me that swing feel. And once I've done the pull off, and then I'm going to pluck the D and the G strings with my middle and my index and middle fingers, and I'm going to bar the 2nd fret of the D and G strings there, so I'm kind of got like an A chord. Okay, so that's my first little phrase. Now this bit here, I'm going to slide up my 3rd finger to the 7th fret of the A string there, again using my thumb. Then I'm going to pluck the D and the G strings again. You can see this right hand picking pattern taking shape. And I'm barring at the 5th fret of the D and G strings there. Like that. Then I descend chromatically 6, 5 on that A string with the 2nd to 1st finger there. And when you play it slow, it can be tricky to kind of get the swing feel for it, but that... You want to get that kind of feel. Notice the double stop notes, the notes that you're playing on the D and G strings tend to be cut short. Okay. Next bit, we've just done this descending. Then I'm going to play my 3rd finger, the 7th fret of the D, 4th finger, the 7th fret of the G string, and I'm going to pluck that with my index and middle finger again. Like that, okay? So that's your kind of kind of like a D power chord there, adding on to the previous bit. So from there, and now I'm going to take my 1st finger and slide, pluck it with my thumb, 5th to 3rd fret in the A string there. And the double stop kind of stab here is the top B and E strings there, but I'm barring with my 1st finger to get it. So that can be quite tricky. Yeah, to get that kind of feel. So I just kind of slide and then depress the bar just to get the notes. You don't have to hold it for too long, just to get that kind of quick stab. So that little bit kind of goes like this. Yeah. After that, we then do 2, 0 on the A string there. And I'm using my 1st finger and I'm using my thumb on my right hand to pluck it. So all that together so far kind of goes like this. Next little bit sounds like this. Okay, so this is can be quite weird, the timing here. First little bit, what I'm doing is I've just done 2-0 on the A string. I'm now going to do, so I'm going to take my middle finger and play the E string, the 3rd fret. Then I'm going to do my little kind of A bar thing again, so I'm barring at the 2nd fret, the D and the G strings. And again I'm playing the E string with the thumb. Then these 2 strings, the D and the G strings, with the index and middle fingers in my right hand. And the minute I play that, I go back to that 3rd fret, the E string with the thumb again. So it's kind of like 3 little notes, if you will, and it goes like that. Like that. Again, the double stop's kind of the short stab kind of feel. That's kind of the swung kind of feel to it. Then you do. So this bit here, I'm now going to play 2-1 on the E string with the 1st finger. So that kind of continues going like this. And then the stab here, it's kind of awkward fingering wise. Make sure I've got my 1st finger here. I'm going to take my 3rd finger onto the G string, 2nd fret, and my 4th finger onto the B string, 3rd fret. And I'm going to pluck that with the index and middle finger again. And then after that I've got an open E string. Yeah, so that kind of goes, that's your kind of feel for that. So when you put it together, that end section goes. So putting that all together, that's just the first 2 bars. Would you believe this is what we've got? Okay. Cool thing is the next 2 bars are mostly the same. We start off up to that point there, the 2-0 on the A string. They may have something that sounds like this. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to, from the 2-0, I'm going to tip my middle finger and slide 5 to 6 in the A string, plucking it with my thumb in the right hand. Then the double stop, here's the top 2 strings, B and E strings, at the 5th fret. Like that. Again, I pluck that index and middle finger in my right hand. Then I do a slide 6 to 7 on the A string, plucking with the thumb, and then the double stop's the 8th fret of the B and E strings, and what I do is bar that with my 4th finger. Okay, so that kind of goes. Yeah, and then I have a little rest, and then do that 6 to 7, 8 bar thing again. So it kind of goes like that. Now this little phrase, this is where it differs a little bit from what I can hear in the recording. Live, that's what Vai's playing. He does that twice. On the recording, it sounds like he just kind of does and stops there. Could just be the way that the mix is. Could be many factors, but that's the way he's kind of doing it live. So I think we'll do it like that. So putting that second 2 bars together, so what it sounds like. So that gives us 4 bars, and we just basically repeat those 4 bars before we get into the distorted riff. The only difference is when we get to the end, so like the second 4 bars, when we do our, we had 2 of these, we only do 1 at bar 8 basically. Yeah. So if I put it all together, I suppose this is what it would sound like. So after that nice kind of funky, jazzy, kind of clean intro, we get into the distorted riff. Now, as you transition from that into this, if you're like on the neck pickup, or if you're using like a neck pickup tapped or whatever to get that kind of clean sound, when you now get into the riff, you want your bridge humbucker full on, you know, rip your face off gain basically. Now on this guitar, I've got a little switch called a blower switch. It allows me to just switch straight to the back pickup with no volume. So that's quite handy if you've got a single channel amp, even though this is a 2-channel amp, but it's quite handy to switch between clean and distorted just with a little switch. But you want to give yourself a bit of time. Now Vai, when he's doing this live, he plays an open string, gives him time to flick the selector to the bridge humbucker, turn up the volume on the guitar if you just roll back the volume, because he kind of plays it with the amp kind of crunchy and he rolls back the volume just to give him that kind of clean sound. Saves having to, you know, do any channel switching. But basically, once you get into this riff, you've got that kind of main part. So the first bit here are these 4 notes here. And what I'm going to do is play like 5th fret of the A string, and I'm going to do 7, 5, 3 on the E string there. And what I'm doing is I'm making sure I'm using the first finger on the A string, then 3rd, then 1st, and a position shift with the 1st. That sets up the 3rd finger to then do this bit. What I do there is I do a pull off 5 to 3, and then I do the open E string twice. But of course, you have to always think about this kind of swung 16th feel. You know, that's kind of the feel to it. So it kind of goes like this. Yeah. Then you have this. What I'm doing here is play 3rd fret again, and I'm going to do a bend up and down on that 5th fret. Probably a whole step bend. Up and down with the bend. Pull off to the 3. Now you can pull off to the E string there, or you can pick the E string. It can be tricky to hear what's going on there. You know, whatever feels comfortable. You could pick the open E string or use a bit of legato. I think I pick it actually. Yeah. So once I've done that bend, pull off, open E string, I play 5th fret of the A string again with the 3rd finger, and bend it. And it's actually a pinch harmonic here as well. Yeah, whole step bend. So that little bit kind of goes. Now if you want, just add a little bit extra kind of rock to it, you can put pinch harmonics. You can put kind of little semi-pinch harmonics in there. Make it scream a little bit more. Obviously, there's the recorded version, which happened at that moment in that time that Vai recorded it, and then it's what he does live, and that may change. You know, you can put little pinch harmonics here, there, whatever. So that's the first part of the riff. The riff repeats, but with a slight variation. So instead of doing our 5, 7, 5, 3, I'm now going to do 5, 7, and I'm going to do a pull off 5 to 0, 3 to 0. So I could put in these little pull offs just to add a little bit more of the groove. Yeah. So that first bit. Then you go. So it's that. And I've still got the usual 5-3 pull off, open E string twice, and then I've got that again. Then I do this. Now this is where, in the recording, this is probably a 7 string that's playing this kind of D to E to power chord back to D. Now a good way of emulating this in the way that Vai does it live is to play a normal D power chord, going up to an E power chord, put a 5th in the bass. So what you're doing here is I'm going to be barring at the 5th fret E and A strings. My 3rd finger is going to play 7th fret the D string. Move it up 2 frets. Move it back 2 frets. Yeah. So that kind of second time we play the riff, that's what it sounds like. It goes. So once we've done our D to E kind of inverted power chords, we've got this kind of fast-picked wah-wah section. So let me do it. I'll do it without the wah first of all. Now, positionally, what I'm going to do, I'm going to play these kind of little kind of diatonic third things here. I'm going to slide up. So I'm playing the 15th fret the B string, 14th fret the high E string. The note I'm playing this with my 3rd and my 2nd finger. Now why is that? Well, I'm going to be doing some fast kind of strumming. And what I want to do is make sure I don't hear any open strings or extra any extra kind of open string noise or anything. So what I use is my first finger here just to kind of gently rest behind these fingers. So if I'm strumming kind of Stevie Vai style, all you hear is these top two strings. Okay, now this is the notes I'm going to play. So I'm playing the 15th and 14th frets there. I go up 2 frets. Then I've got another little shape that's up 1 fret. So basically that was 16 of the E string and 17 of the B string. This one is now 17 of the E string. And then I'm playing 19 of the B string. And I'm using my 2nd and 4th fingers there. And this is kind of what I'm playing here. I play this 14th, 15th fret here, and it kind of lasts basically for to the end of a bar. Then I have something that kind of goes 1 and 2 and 3. So what I'm doing is I'm playing 14th, 15th. So I'll call that the kind of 14th fret position. This one's the 16th, this one's 17th. So you kind of do 14th, then you do 16, 14, 16, 17, 16, 14. That's kind of the rhythm that you've got. But we're kind of picking this with kind of fast picking. Now if you want to think about the kind of actual the kind of beat subdivision here, it feels like kind of little kind of 16th note triplets. So like that sort of thing. You know, sometimes, I mean, when I played it, you know, you can do that when you're picking in all of them. Sometimes you can actually just kind of strum the chords. I've seen kind of Vai do different things. It's mostly the kind of the sound that we want, you know. Of course, this bit's actually play the wads is to give it a bit more of a kind of vocal quality. So you want to be kind of just at the midpoint of the wah, so you don't want to be too harsh. You just want to control it a little bit. You know, just like that. And when you're doing you'll be quite violent with that kind of fast strumming because you've got that mute there. You know. So once we've done that bit, the next kind of little descending pattern, we kind of come down. We just kind of come down diatonically. And what I'm doing from here is I'm going to play my 15 and 14 again. Then I'm going to move down. So I'm playing 12 in the E string and 14 in the B string. And note it's that little minor third shape. So I've used my 2nd, my 4th finger there. Then I move down another 2 frets. So I've got 10 in the E and 12 in the B. Then I move down a fret, so I've got 9 in the high E and 10 in the B string. Then I move down 2 frets, so my 2nd finger's at the 7th fret E, my 4th finger's at the 9th fret B. And then I go down another 2 frets, so I'm 5 in the E, 7 in the B. Now rhythmically though, you have this kind of that kind of thing going on. Because it continues on from the fast strumming up here, don't worry too much about the exact, I must strum this 3 times, even though it can help. Think of more of the kind of the sound of it, where you have the kind of feel to it. And once I've done that, that last bit, by the way, I'm sliding from the 7th fret down to the 5th fret. Then I'm going to do end it off with this little double stop here, and what I'm playing is like 9th fret, the G and B strings with the 1st finger, and I go back 2 frets, slide it back to the 7th fret on the G and the B strings there, and kind of if you're doing it at speed, you can sometimes hear that as like a slide into 9th fret and back. And of course we use the wah-wah with that as well, and make sure again that you're taming it just a little bit. This bit here though, you want to keep that kind of low, close it down, and open it again. So you get wow kind of sound with it. That whole section kind of sounds like this. So after that wah section, we have the riff again twice. Then I have something sounds like this. Okay, little tapping lick here, really cool, very Vai sounding. The first little sequence sounds like this actually. I'm going to tap 10th fret of the high E string with the pinky. Now what this feels like actually is if he was doing 7, 10 with the 1st and 4th finger. But the way it's timed probably, or just the way it's come out, is the 4th finger at the 10th fret you can hear first. Then I'm going to tap the high E string 14th fret. And then do a pull off 14, 10, 7 like that. It's actually kind of notes there. Yeah. Then we shift everything onto the B string. I'm going to play that little sequence there. So I tap at the 14th fret, pull it off to 10, and the little sequence I'm going to do here is 10, 8, 7, 8, like that. And that's obviously all legato. Pull off, hammer on. So that's the first little bit. Then I tap again and do pull off 10 to the 10th fret, sorry, 8, 7, like that. So that kind of goes. So it feels as if the 10 comes in, the tap at the 14th fret, sorry, comes in a little bit early again. It's just the way it's played at that sort of speed. Then we move things onto the G string, and from this, there's a very, very quick sounding 9th fret on the G string here, so I'm hitting that with the 3rd finger. And what I'm going to do is tap at the 14th fret again, so you have a very quick 3rd finger, 9th fret in the G string, hammer on from nowhere. And I'm going to do 14 to 9, 14 to 9 again, pull off to 7, and then slide up the 1st finger 7 to 9. So you have that kind of little phrase when you speed it up. Okay, so slowly together it goes like this. Yeah, a little bit faster. Again, it's the kind of contour, the flow of it, that if you listen to it, when your fingers know where they're going, you'll be able to kind of match it. Just think, how does it sound? What do you want to make it sound like when you're playing the guitar? Okay, and that's it. That's the kind of entire riff. So, lots and lots of stuff to keep it going on with there. There's a lot of kind of fingerstyle stuff. If you're not used to that, it's really good practice to be able to kind of separate up playing like a bass line with a thumb and playing double stop stabs or chords with the other fingers. And then we've got the riff, of course, which is a great, great kind of groovy riff. But we've got the wah-wah section as well, which we're working kind of fast strumming when using the wah, and of course a little bit of tapping at the end too. So have fun with that. Let me know how you got on with it. Now what I'll do is hopefully get another poll up, and we'll get you to vote for the next riff. It's obviously been a really long time since I had the last poll to this riff actually happening now, so apologies for that. Just usual tricky to find the time basically. But we'll get a poll up for that, and I think we'll look for something a bit more acoustic based this time. So I'll pick some riffs and I'll get you guys to vote for it, and that can be the next Master That Riff lesson. So have fun with audiences listening, get your Vai-isms going, and I'll hopefully see you soon for the next riff.